This ain't no joke, this ain't no game. This that CSC game. They said pull up, so I came. You better put some respect on their name. Yeah, 55, what's goody? Kill the vibe, how could it? Big Cardinal on the hoodie. Let me break it down for you fully. This ain't your average broadcast. This ain't just no podcast. The mother shows spread fake news. We just call them broadcast. West, Joey, Sam, Sean, Dr. And you know that boy Higgy. He said he don't want no small fries. Tell them they better make them biggie. Yeah, you already know what we be on. We got the crown, we hold the throne. We throw the mails and you take them on. When they ring the bells, you know that it's on. The bar set, we setting the tone. If we set it, then set it in stone. Sit in the seat, set up your phone. You in the Cardinal sports zone. Simple.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the final bonus episode of the season, season 5 of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wyman, flying solo tonight. Robbie, it wouldn't be unexpected if you paid attention to social media, but we appreciate you tuning in, so we won't blame you for that. We're coming to you live from the Four Peg Studios. This is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wyman, once again. Flying solo tonight because I had to go one-on-one with my guest for tonight, special guest. Don't forget, though, first off, the Mossy Oak chat line is open. Send your text. We're going to do some Q&A with the guests tonight. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or however, please send your questions in on social media. Check the graphic out to see how you can follow the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast on socials and how to help support us monetarily. While you're also in here, make sure you hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. Make sure you're watching if you're on YouTube. What's up, James? If you watch on YouTube, it helps us out a little bit more than any of the other ones. But if you can't, we just appreciate you all tuning in. Current sponsor shout-outs, Fitness Market, Four Pegs, the Collision Course Crew Tailgaters, Cherry Picking, Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, and our newest sponsor, Planet Fitness. So we appreciate all of them. And I'm currently working on deals with a couple of other places. Make sure if you go into any of the Rally House locations, you make sure you tell them you saw us on the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. So enough of the pandering that I'm doing for all the sponsors. Again, we appreciate Chris and Sarah out at Fitness Market. Delivered me a brand new home gym in my basement this week. It's fantastic. I'll shoot some pictures out when I can to recover what I lost in the flood. Appreciate them. Our guy Chris out at Four Pegs, went out and saw him this week. Had the brisket grilled cheese. It was phenomenal. Go show him some love. He's over on Goss Avenue. Shout out to Dondi, Albert, Jeremy, and Jamie tuning in on Facebook as well. Let's see who else. Oh, of course, we got the Collision Course Crew Tailgaters. We got Bill. We got Garrett. We got Rhino. We got Joey, help me out. Kevin. I always forget Kevin. I love Kevin. I just always forget Kevin. And Kurt, Big Kurt. Wes Keys, what's up? What's good? Big bro tapping in. Just punched the clock. Appreciate that. And then, of course, Cherry Picking, owned by the phenomenal Sydney and Nolan Smith. Love those people. Shoot 360, owned by Peyton Siva. Mossy Oak, our guy Paul. And Planet Fitness, Rick Cooper. Appreciate all their love and help. So we got all the pandering out of the way, like I said. Our guest tonight is one of the greatest of all time for Louisville men's basketball. The 6'6", silky smooth shooting guard from Wisconsin and first-round draft pick by the Magic, ranked 4th on U of L's all-time scoring list with 1,945 points. He ranks among the top 5 Louisville leaders in made three-point goals, 225, free throws, 456, and assists at 475. Dwayne Wade of the Miami Heat once called this gentleman the best college basketball player he ever faced. And let's just face it, responsible for one of the – I'm going to give y'all and we're going to ask him in a second because I know he's waiting to hop on here because he's been on here for a few minutes. Responsible for one of the top 5 moments in Louisville basketball history. Some people will say the Jerry Smith midcourt three-pointer against Marquette. Some people will say Earl dunking on that dude so hard at versus Pittsburgh. Edgar Sosa hitting the dagger against, them nerds down the street. My top 2 is and in no order, and I'm going to be very diplomatic because he's here with me. I really feel like it's the top moment, but a lot of people would be like, well, this other one meant more in the grand scheme of things. I'm going to argue that point, but the alley-oop dunk from Peyton to Montrez to take the lead against Michigan in the national championship game, pretty iconic. But here's why I'll name this moment number one, because it was the first time in my lifetime, and I'm just a couple years older than this. I'm gonna call him young man. That makes me feel older when I call people young man. I'm just a little bit older than this young man, but it was one of the first times in my adult life that made me a believer in Louisville men's basketball. Of course, I had saw vague memories of the 1980 championship. I was just a toddler, still young when the 86 title. I remember the 86 title game, just barely. But we had a little bit of a dry spell in Louisville, and this guy gave me that feeling back by hitting like 72 threes in the last 9 seconds of the game. It was phenomenal versus Tennessee. We're going to welcome in the one, the only Reece Gaines. What's up, my man?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Thanks for hopping on here with us. And I hope I didn't blow too much smoke.
No, man, it's all good. I like the end. That was a kind of accurate description of what I feel like too, in terms of getting the belief back in the school and the city. It was a great time, and obviously a lot of thanks goes to Coach Chino for that too.
Absolutely. And here's the funny thing. That was the first time you did it, not the last time. And as we'll talk about in a little bit, coaching the TBT team, bringing the love back to Louisville once again when we really needed it. Something you're just good at doing. So
I appreciate that.
Robbie said Tennessee final. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Robbie, was the Tennessee game. Shout out to Daniel tuning in. Wes Brocky, what's up, man? And who's this? I can't really look. You can tell. Oh, CT. What's good, CT? So I mentioned that you're fourth on the all-time points scoring list, and we just had number 2 on the list on the show about a month and a half ago. Do you know who's ahead of you?
I can guess. I'm guessing. Was it Purvis Ellison? Maybe Griffith. Um, I'm not sure who else after that. Maybe
Okay,
Wheat.
so yep. Number 1, Daryl Griffith with 2,333 points. DeWine with 2,183. Purvis 2,143, and then you 1945. DeWine was really one of my, and it's really a little bit of there's a little bit of biasness here because I went to high school during the same couple of years as DeWine did, so I got to watch him battle here in the city, and arguably the greatest Jefferson County Public School basketball era of all time. You had guys like Derek Anderson, Jason Osborne, Chris Travis, Danielle Macklin, just to name a few. I don't want to leave anybody
Hmm.
out. And DeWine Wheat, and there were a couple grades ahead of me, but I got to watch him in high school, so it made it a little bit special. But yeah, we like just to think of how like we celebrate when players get 1,000 points here at Louisville. You guys had two. I mean, you nearly had 2,000,
Yeah.
but for them to have double of what some players, some triple of what's that's really an amazing feat. What's up, Desmond? Desmond joining in, saying what's good to Card Nation. All right, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I'm going to let
Yes, sir.
the viewers, because I don't want to keep you too long, and I don't really want to go. I don't really want to go too long tonight either. Still
I got
recovering
you.
from some health stuff, as you know. So we'll keep it nice and clean. I'll ask you about 4 questions of mine, and
Okay.
I'll let viewers ask what y'all can ask what you want. Whether he answers it or not, I can't really say, but we'll try to go. Why don't you tell the viewers and listeners what you've been up to lately?
Man, right now just really just been in the gym with my oldest son. He's about to start high school. I've been trying to figure out some things here, so I had a few meetings with a few GMs and some G League teams. So just trying to figure out what's the next move coaching wise and really spending time with my kids. I took my youngest son to the gym. He kept crying. I always work out my oldest son, so I take him to the gym too. So it's been great spending time with the family.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always good to spend that family time. So as we get a little bit older and we start to lose family members, our perspective gets to be a little different on spending time. So it's
No
good to
doubt.
be able to nip that in the bud early. Everybody, again, we have Reece Gaines on here. If y'all have any questions, please put them in the Mossy Oak chat line right there, and we will get them answered for you immediately. Shout out to Mike Murphy in here with us. I talked earlier about how you not only really, for me, brought my love back for U of L once, but it happened twice because it happened once back in your college day. I won't say bring back my love because I've always been that guy. I've
No
always been
doubt.
that kind of a fan that it didn't matter what our record, even when Marcus Maben led us to 2 10-win seasons. That's a little jab at Marcus, but I didn't lose. I didn't lose my love. I just was like, wow, well, we could have done it. We could have done it. We just, excuses, whatever. The last 4 or 5 years here in Louisville have been kind of trying for the fan base and stuff, which I know true competitors like you get. There's not really been anybody I've talked to around the program then or now that loved what happened. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But you brought back the love for the whole city, I feel like, with the TBT team. And, man, I was there for the first couple of games. I did not get to go to the game, so you can blame it on me. It's my fault that we didn't
Man, yeah, no doubt. We need that extra luck because we struggled from the field a little bit, but it was a great atmosphere. It was a great game. Great atmosphere for sure.
And I remember, so the first amazing thing about that is setting the record, like quadrupling the
No doubt.
record for attendance for that game, and we got to give the inbreds up the road a little credit for that. I'm not going to pull any punches against them. I hate them. But yeah, we'll give them a little bit of credit. But yeah, I was worn out, man. I couldn't make it to that game. I did watch it here at the house. I truly believe, again, it's my fandom. Even when it seemed like all was lost, we got down to the Elam ending and they missed like 10 shots in a row. And in my head, I'm like, well, all we got to do is hit 5 or 6 shots, and we're going to win this game. We're going to get right back in.
I thought we had a chance. Yeah. I could have did some little things better than that. But
I remember we talked that night, and I was like, man, I hate how it ended, but thank you so much for because like a lot of people are just like, well, he just coached the team, but like you did more than you were so busy. Can you kind of tell everybody what your responsibilities were in the 2 months leading up to the TBT, other than just coaching?
I think obviously, promoting it, but obviously trying to get the players back in shape, getting to know the guys, trying to figure out the team all together, help out the GM. Jordan did a great job with the team and the players, and just organizing the practice. I mean, it was a different feel for us. So I really appreciate what you're saying because I guess it seems like a TBT from the outside, but anytime you do something for our fans or for our city, it's a big deal for everybody involved, including myself. I took everything extremely personal, put a lot of my heart into it. We had some challenging players to coach for a TBT. I mean, we got Montrezl Harrell. He's been coached by some of the greatest coaches. Teron Lue, other players. You got to really come and be prepared to have your practices ready. We had to get together as a staff. Luke did a great job. He's a great basketball mind, and the whole staff did a really good job. We had to gel because honestly, those games were intense, and we knew we had a lot of pressure to keep winning because we know how much it meant to Freedom Hall, to the city, to the fans to kind of get to that game and show everybody what Louisville basketball is all about, which the fans did. Much appreciated.
So let me ask you, and some of these things are just popping in my head as you mentioned things. How much of an advantage do you think it was to be able to be up at Shoot 360, one of our sponsors, and of course one of your players, Peyton Siva, owns that facility, and not a lot of people had that kind of access to facilities outside of, you know what I'm saying? So how big of an advantage do you feel like that was?
It was huge. The guys had a chance to get into the gym anytime. Peyton was so welcoming in that situation. In terms of getting guys back in shape, I mean, they come back from overseas. A lot of them make a lot of money, and so they went on a lot of great vacations. So to get those guys back in the rhythm was much needed, and Peyton facility provided that for us.
Wes, I'm going to ask you a question in just a second. I want to ask one more TBT question. Do you feel like it might be in the card, no pun intended, might be in the cards for you to return as the coach next year?
I hope so. I hope Jordan and the guys, people behind it, want me back. I think it was a very stressful experience, but a great experience. I grew as a coach, grew as a person. It was great for my family. My 2 boys sat behind the bench every game, just to see how the the level of play was pretty high. Those guys are really great basketball players. Just they can see the intensity. So overall, it was a beautiful experience for me and the family. So I definitely want to do it again.
That's what's up. And I want to say this too. As I went to, so the last game I went to was when you all played the Darius Washington team.
Yeah,
Gosh, I forgot what the name of the team was. It was like
DRC, I think.
yeah,
DRC. Yeah,
Cromartie's team.
hmm
Um,
yeah.
I was sitting second row under their goal, and I didn't know where I was. I just hit up Peyton. I was like, "Hey, man, I need some tickets for the game. I'm feeling okay today." It was literally last minute decision. He's like, "All right, here's the number. Get your tickets." Bought my tickets, show up, and I'm sitting like right with the current men's basketball team, which that was fun. They were so
Yeah,
invested,
they were.
and
That was big time. Yeah.
they really wanted you all to win the game. But here's the biggest thing I noticed: wasn't just them, but to look out in the crowd and see so many former Louisville, like they had. Listen, I suppose you know I'm your friend. I'm Nolan's friend. I went to a lot of games the last 2 years that maybe I wouldn't have in other seasons if we weren't having a good season. I was there a lot. As the end of that tenure happened, um, I saw less and less. But to look out and see guys out in the crowd that I hadn't seen in a long time. And I'm not going to even go. I'm not going to name the names because as soon as I do, somebody will be like, "Well, you didn't mention me, Jeremy," and it's like I forgot.
Right.
But you know, even Nolan came to all the games. He supported you
Yeah.
guys. A lot of the former Louisville football players were in attendance. Uh, Again, I don't want to start naming people because as soon as I do, I'll forget somebody and they'll blame me for it. But I guess to just draw on what you said earlier and what I had said earlier, this really brought the community together.
For sure.
It gave us a reason to love Cardinal basketball again, and not that we didn't like Cardinal basketball, but as you know,
Yeah.
we had a bad taste in our mouth for a couple seasons, so it is what it is. But Wes wants to know what was your favorite college basketball game that you played in besides the Tennessee one?
I think the obvious one was obviously the Marquette game. That was a real battle. A lot of talent on the floor, obviously, but Dwayne Wade, Travis Steiner, um, and my guy, the 3-point shooter, his name just slipped my mind, but from Wisconsin
Oh,
as well. Novak.
yeah,
Yeah,
Novak.
Steve Novak. Yeah, yeah. So it was a lot of talent on the floor, and obviously, Garcia, Taekwondo. It was an unbelievable game. It was a war, and to win those, win those kind of games is something that you always remember because you got to put so much on the line, put so much effort. It tests you physically and mentally all at the same time. So it was just a war. I think one game that's coming back to my mind that I think when I look back is probably an extremely important game is we played at home at Freedom Hall against Cincinnati. They were ranked maybe third in the nation, second in the nation, number one in the conference, and it was a game on national television. And like you say, the Tennessee game helped you believe. I think that game solidified Coach P in the program as a national brand. Somebody's coming back and up and coming for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wes Key says, "Yeah, we were absolutely. We were all there together, watching." Did you? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you have a buzzer beater against Marquette as well?
I did. I
Okay,
did. I
all right. I
did.
thought so.
Yeah.
The games against Marquette, with you being a Wisconsin kid, did those games, like for us, obviously the Louisville kids, every time it was Louisville, Kentucky, that meant a lot to us because we've hated them our whole lives. Did the Marquette games, did those mean a little bit more to you when you were playing them?
For sure. I think it definitely developed into a rivalry. I think a lot had to do with Dwayne Wade and obviously Coach Crean. He was a great coach, great strategist at that time. I mean, in terms of how they played me was always a challenge. Double teamed me a lot. I love to say that Dwayne Wade rarely played me one on one. So I always mention that every time I can, every chance I get to my son. But yeah, so it was a challenge. It definitely became a rivalry, a big game for everybody.
That's one of the so obviously when I was a kid, our rivals were Florida State and Memphis State and Tulane. But as we aged a little bit, it was really like Cincinnati and Marquette. And man, I could not stand the Deaners. There was like 4 or 5 of them little dudes, and they didn't. I think there were two in a row that played for Marquette, and then one that played for St. Louis. But they were just annoying. They could really play ball. Novak, much love and respect for him. He was a phenomenal basketball player. Let's really quickly. I want to take a little time out to shout out our sponsors. Shoot 360. It is a premier state-of-the-art basketball training facility with highly skilled trainers. Our guy Peyton Siva is the owner. Make sure you call 515-6556. Sign up today. Great value all around. Go to shoot360.com and pre-register. You can get a free workout. They've also got some good camps that go year round. You'll enjoy them if you have kids. Peyton's one of the greatest dudes. Like, I hold him in the same regard I hold you and DeJuan. Like, I could talk to you or DeJuan for like months and months and months, and then we'll talk, and it's like it's back like it never left. So just a good dude. Like, literally, Peyton would give you the shirt off his back if he could. The fine people at Cherry Picking, like I said, the Smiths. It is a hoop-themed cold-pressed juice and smoothie bar inspiring you to take what's good. It's conveniently located at 821 East Main Street behind the local seltzery. Tell them CSD sent you for 15% off your total order. Fitness Market, Chris and Sarah, as I mentioned earlier, if you're in the market for a treadmill, an elliptical, a bike, a stair step, or anything, sauna, a cold tub, a hot tub, whatever, they've got it all out there. Give them a call. Let them know I sent you. Great people. They just while I was in the hospital last year, I lost some property due to water damage, and they came out this week and was able to give me a brand new home gym in my basement. So if you all don't see me slimming down by the end of this podcast season, then something's wrong, because I'm going to be up in that gym every single day. Appreciate Chris and Sarah. Our guy Chris out at Four Pegs, 1053 Goss Avenue. He is the number one Louisville fan that I know. He just loves Louisville. We have a great time every time we hang out. He went to wrestling with us a couple weeks ago. I went out and had lunch with him this week. This morning he was on WLKY showing off his restaurant for I don't want to misquote the name of it, but it's like a Taste of Louisville or something going on. And he was showing his food, but they got so much good food out there. Like I said, I had the brisket grilled cheese and a side of the white cheddar mac, and it was smoked macaroni, and it was so good. They also have Wings Day. It's $20 all you can eat jumbo smoked wings all day long on Wednesday. You can either do all you can eat for $20 or $1.25 per wing. Come and get the best wings in town for the best deal in town. Also on Thursday, it's he calls it the Ribs Days. You can go eat the best ribs in Louisville for just $25 all you can eat, or $2 a bone all day long. The Collision Course Crew Tailgate, it's almost time. Football season starting up a week from Sunday. It's behind the El Nepal. That parking lot back there, they party, they have a good time. We appreciate them. Make sure you show up. Yes, Wes, you do need to grab that brisket grilled cheese. It is fire. Robbie said, I love the studio set up in the basement. It was amazing. It was amazing. And we're gonna so now that the basement has been remodeled, I've got a different idea for our new studio, and we're hoping to have it done by the end of this year. But gonna debut a brand new studio here in a couple of weeks, and I'm very excited for it. Let's see, who else? Oh, Mossy Oak. If you're in the market to buy or sell farms, land, recreational, or residential areas in the state of Kentucky, let Paul or one of his team of professionals at Mossy Oak and Hart Realty help you with your buying and selling needs. Call Paul at 270-537-4422 or email him at pthomas@mossyoakproperties.com. Mossy Oak, we know land. All right, Reece, I have to pay the bills somehow. I apologize.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Let's see. Anthony's got a question. What is your question, Anthony? He says, I remember when Reece hit that shot at Marquette, Dick Vitale was screaming, "Oh, he's from Wisconsin." Yeah, absolutely. It was a great moment. And here's what a lot of people put past their head. They think that these are just sports moments where athletes excel. You don't know who's having a rough day and or who's having rough circumstances, and something like that just helps them through the day, or helps them through a difficult point in their life. So very, very appreciative of stuff like that. But yeah, I can remember. I know exactly where I was at when that shot was hit, and it was amazing. I remember where I was. Here's the funny thing. I remember where I was. All those 5 moments that I mentioned, I know exactly where I was for each of those 5 moments, because you never forget where you were or who you were with when things like that happen. Let's see, third question. All right. So I do kind of want to, and you don't have to answer what you don't want to answer, but I do kind of want to
Right.
add. I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask this question.
Okay.
But you were on the staff here at Louisville for the last couple of seasons. Two-part.
Okay.
How did you enjoy take the results off of the table? How did you enjoy coming back and working for your alma mater? And second part of the question, if you can, and if you can't, much love and respect, I get it. But what do you think could have been done differently? I'm not saying put blame on anybody or whatever, but what do you think could have been done differently to make the outcome different?
Wow. I mean, the first part is easy. I mean, I was living a dream. I was at my alma mater, something I always dreamed of, coming back and coaching and giving back to my school. Anytime you have a situation where you're going to work and it's not work, it's, still have friends, still have basically calling family, there. And it just meant a lot more, a little bit, a lot more to me than a normal coaching position did. I was just more connected to everyone, the university, the city, just gave all I could, and it was a dream in terms of trying to do my best to make us successful in my role that I was given. So it was that part was great. I mean, it was rough, it was obviously painful. I mean, I played. Do I want to see a team from nowhere jumping up and down on our floor, and then no, or even more painful, a team from nowhere pretending that they don't need to jump, as if as if it's not a big deal to beat the University of
Right.
Louisville at home. So it was definitely some painful moments, but I accepted those. And
Are you using that pun intended painful moments, or is it just by accident?
oh gosh, no pun. I'm not that creative. No, no, not
I
that
know,
creative.
man.
It
I'm
just
shooting
it,
you a
it just
hard
really
time.
was. Not that creative. No, no, it just really was. I mean, those moments hurt. You know what I mean? I took them all in, and I experienced those, and I didn't brush it off. I didn't, I wanted to be involved in the change. Unfortunately, I wasn't, but I think everyone's going in the right direction. I love Peyton Siva in his new role. I think he's perfect for it, especially with the staff and the leadership under Josh Harris. I think they fit together really well, and I'm excited for what's for the future.
Absolutely. That was my last question I was gonna ask you about, but no, I didn't want to lead you in any side. That's not me. I mean, friends, would never lead you down that tunnel. I just I've asked multiple people around the situation, what could have been,
Yeah.
is there anything that you know of that could have been
Uh,
done differently that might have made this successful? And I've gotten many different answers from many
wow.
different people. So I want to know
Wow.
if the brilliant mind of Reece Gaines, if he saw something, and you don't even have to say the person, you can just say, well, if
Done
communication was
different.
better.
Yeah, I think that is a big loaded question in terms of because um, you know, especially in some ways, as a coach, I agree with some of the things that KP believed in. Some of the things that he believed in um, are why sometimes people get hired or not get hired. Meaning, if you're naturally good at, if you see things the natural way, if you're organic in your relationship building, you may not get hired as fast as someone who, you know, has the skills that the people that hire like. You know what I mean? They're very good on the surface area levels. They sound like a
Hmm.
coach. They do all the things that seem like they're doing everything's right. And those guys, not to hate on those guys get hired and they should get hired because they're playing the game correctly. So I want to be fair in that. And I think doing things organically, the biggest problem with that is they take a lot of time.
Sure.
So it takes a lot of time to do things the right way. And as a person who, I started my career with 0 points and 9 turnovers, Coach Crum gave me patience and he worked with me. So I understand definitely the frustration and lack of patience. And I think there's probably a little more balance could be had of what I just said. Kind of rush, kind of doing things the traditional way. There's a reason why those guys get hired. How they're viewed and their skill set in that way. And there's a reason why someone like KP has a long career developing real relationships and getting real results with people that last a long time and lifelong success with players. And I think probably one thing could have been a better balance. I would say of both. So the biggest thing was how to rush what KP did great and make the relationships in those move a little faster. I would say probably could
Absolutely.
have been done a little different.
Absolutely. And here's what I'll say. Like when the rumors were coming out of the latter part of the year last year that he may get a third year, I wasn't necessarily against that because listen, and I know people will try to take me to the woodshed over this, but I do think that we were in a lot worse shape than most people in the public realize that we were. And I know it's easy to be like, well, with the transfer portal, you can rebuild a team in just under a season. And then with all the success we had this offseason, it was really easy for people to be like, well, see, this new guy can do it, and why couldn't he do it? So I'm not trying to open up any old wounds or any old sores for the
No,
fans. I'm just saying
that's
I could have got behind another year if the results were he was able to implement. Well, and again, it's unfair for me to say that because again, I know you, I know Nolan, I know more stuff than most people know. So it's really a situation where it would be unfair for me to be like, oh yeah, give him more time, or no, he should have been gone 6 months ago. But if he would have
yeah.
been here, I could have got behind the philosophy of it. I don't know that I would necessarily have been happy about it, but
No doubt. I understand. I'm not a blizzard. I completely understand everyone's frustration. I think as a coach, I was, in my role, doing all I could do, and it was definitely frustrating. Um, you know, Being inside, obviously, have the relationship with the coaches and obviously KP, and but yeah, I think even bigger than basketball. It's not bigger than basketball. Sorry. In this new era, I think building a team every year or so. I think you're going to have some good years, but at the end of the day, sometimes you're going to miss.
yeah,
And I think in the long run, I understood KP's philosophy, how to implement that, the patience that it took. Probably we probably can reevaluate that and talk about that, analyze that.
sure,
But in terms of philosophy, that's how it is. It's going to be, do you have a coach great enough that every few years is going to have a Final Four team? This is still Louisville basketball. Everything's great now, but I remember people wanting to fire Rick Pitino because he
yeah.
lost like 6 games one year. You know what I mean? So, is everyone going to have the patience to say, okay, can you build a Final Four team every year? And that takes a lot of work. And obviously, I have a lot of faith in Coach Kelsey and the staff. Obviously, Peyton, and well, I think they're going to do a great job. But that's going to be everyone's challenge is how to find long-term success. And I think KP's philosophy on that was a little different than what the modern times expectations were. But I think, like I said, obviously, I understand the frustration and definitely the execution of that plan could be analyzed and could be talked about and could be scrutinized for sure. I would get that, no doubt about it.
Absolutely, man. We had a couple seasons in a row actually where it just felt like in February we dropped like 4 out of our last 6 games, like 2 or 3 seasons in a row, and people were ready. And thank God social media wasn't around then, or maybe Rick's not here to win the title in 2013 because social
No
media has a
doubt.
much larger effect on the players and coaches than fans are always like, oh, that ain't no big deal. But how would you feel if every day you hopped on Twitter and saw I'm trying to put myself in that position. Jeremy Wallman's trash. Jeremy Wallman, can't coach his way out of a wet paper bag. His podcasts suck. It's just like they. And there's a reason why when social media first come around, Rick banned everybody from having it
Yeah,
because
I heard about that. Yeah,
distractions, not a good thing. And that's something that we have learned even through the advent of sports radio, we've had a lot of guys. I mean, you can say what you want to about any of them, but you didn't want this team to fail. Kenny didn't want this team to fail. Nolan didn't want this team to fail. Danny did.
And I want to be clear. I love the fact that the fans are that passionate. Like that's why you come. That's what made us who we are. That's why playing here makes you different. That's why playing here makes you mentally tough. You're able to conquer anything in your life after you conquer this situation. And it wouldn't change anything about the love and support and criticism of our fans. It's beautiful. It's perfect. That's what makes us great. So I'm not saying that I was just describing the fact that that's going to be the new landscape of a lot of these colleges. Kentucky, everyone is can you really put together a Final Four team every year? And that's going to be a challenge with all the turnover and all the changes that are allowed right now. So
but those crazy. Let's not get it twisted. Those crazies in Lexington have been like that since I was 2 years old. So
no doubt.
this ain't been a change. Wes Key says, not a question really, but Reece is my favorite player of all time and the player that made me a Louisville fan as a kid. Well, that's nice to see. And then Robbie says, thank you, Coach, for giving us a few moments of your time tonight. These are the spaces I love to visit. Nothing but positive vibes. Absolutely. That's what we do. Like, anybody can get on here and try to be viral or have a hot take or try to blow up something that somebody said into something bigger. But that ain't my look. Everybody that knows me knows that's not my style. I just want to bring you all the people you all love. And I love it. I was talking to Jason, the guy that brought he tuned up the equipment in the basement the other day, and he was talking about how he used to work for ESPN's College Game Day and how he got to meet a lot of cool people. And I told him, I said, honestly, that's the one thing that I've loved about doing this is all the people. Now, I met Reece before I did any of this stuff, so he's a before BP, what I call it, the era, the before podcasting, BP era. But I've got to meet a bunch of people since that I feel very grateful to have met. Well, like Peyton. Peyton's a guy that I just organically met from covering him in college and then covering the Shoot 360 opening and then the TBT. That friendship just happened organically. So, we lost Reece, but that's how quick he is. He came back before he even was lost. Reece, you there? We lost him. Reece, come back. Come back. I don't have any hold music. Reece, get back in here. There he is. There he is.
There we go.
All right. But yeah, it's just really great. One of the I don't care about nothing else like the things I've got to do. I've got to cover the national championship of basketball. Got to cover the Sugar Bowl, College World Series, stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that I will remember forever. Last question for you, Reece, and we'll let you get to your evening. What do you kind of touched on a little bit, but I want to be able for you to go into depth a little bit, if you will. What are your thoughts on the hire of Pat Kelsey, and what does the team look like? We've got a lot of different personalities, attitudes, players, but they seem to really like each other. Again, I mentioned I sat right in front of them during the TBT, and I've never quite been around I've been around a lot of the basketball teams over the last from 20, 30 years, from being DeJuan's friend, from being Marcus's friend, from being your friend, from being Terrence Farley's friend, and being around those guys. So I've been around a lot of the team, Ellis Miles, just to name a few. I've never quite been around a team that has you hear the cliche, oh man, you all need to be like brothers, be like friends. These guys were talking like they'd known each other forever, and some of them had just met each other a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's huge, especially in this day and age where a lot of teams they face have brand new players, and playing for different reasons now. Now that you're making a little money, at the end of the day, it changes a little bit. It changes a little bit now that you're getting a check. It's not as it used to be when we were all playing and we shared pizza after practice. So it's a little different.
Yeah.
And so to have guys truly like each other and truly want to play with each other, because at the end of the day, that's an intangible, but it translates and it manifests in extra passes, extra effort plays, extra box out. And anytime you have positive energy, I think they're in a good conference for that too. Being in the ACC, it's a little different than being in the SEC where it's a lot more athletes. You're playing against a few more pros here and there. I think the ACC team chemistry and how you play and how consistent you are with your style of play, whatever that is a big plus. So I think that's going to be a big advantage for them for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to check Twitter to see if anybody, because sometimes they don't comment here in the chat line, they comment on Twitter and stuff. Reece, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Is there anything that you want? Obviously, you can find him on Twitter at Reece Gaines 1. Is there anything that you want to plug or anything you got coming up that you want to talk about real quick before we get you out of here?
Man, not really. Just want to say thanks to the fans, especially for the TBT experience. For me and my family, it was great. It was awesome. It was something that everyone's and my family's gonna remember for a long time, and hopefully have a chance to do it next year. And thank you. And obviously, also Peyton too for 360. He did show us a lot of love. It's a great facility, and that's about it.
All right, y'all. This has been Reece Gaines. Reece, thank you so much for joining us for this last episode of the season, and look forward to keeping in touch with you and hearing about what you got coming up next. Let us know whenever you get your next stop on your journey, man. We enjoy watching it.
Appreciate that, brother.
All right. Reece Gaines, everybody. Appreciate you, bro. Miss Tracy said, thank you, Reece. Reece can still hear y'all. All right. Listen, make sure y'all are supporting our photographers at CardinalSportsZone.com. Jeff Nunn, TJ Barr, Justin Kruger. Make sure if you see Ben Gumble, Blake McCauley, Dalton Pence out, any of those guys you see out, they will be this year. We've got new CSE polos that our team will be wearing out in public for all the press conferences and photography. Those are being sponsored by Planet Fitness. Our guy Rick Cooper, generous enough to offer to help out with that. So we appreciate that. Again, we might as well have done a long infomercial because we've talked about Fitness Market, Four Pegs, Collision Course, Cherry Pick, and Shoot 360 Mossy Oak, and hoping to announce another major deal with the Rally House before the start of the football season. Make sure y'all go in and if y'all have some time tomorrow, go to Rally House. They're all over Louisville. The newest one in Jefferson Mall. Just mention that you heard about them on Cardinal Sports Zone. That'll help us out a lot. What's up, Robert? What's up, James? What's up, Tracy? Just wanted to make sure I say hi to everybody that is tuned in. If you want to sponsor the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, make sure you get in touch with me. You can see on the screen where you can get a hold of me for sponsorship opportunities, JSWaman723 at AOL.com. Make sure, as always, you follow the show on social media. You can find that at the bottom of the screen too, Twitter, Facebook. Let's see what else. I haven't looked at the bottom of the screen in a while. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find all the handles at the bottom. You can find this podcast on all the podcast avenues: Apple, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, iHeart. Hit subscribe or like now or follow or plus sign or whatever it is Sean does on a Friday night. If you haven't listened to all the prior episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, go back, check them all out. Go to CardinalSportsZone.com, the place it all began. Hit the podcast drop-down menu, hit CSC podcast. They'll all be right there. Or go to YouTube and you can see them all there because we've been doing them on there for the last 2 years. Shout out to everybody out there sharing the podcast. We appreciate and love you all. Shout out to our guys, Marcus Maven and Steve Rummage, doing the Lord's work on ESPN 93.9 DeVille, Monday through Friday from 10 to noon. Also, make sure you are supporting the good people at 502 Circle, Dan Furman and the crew. You can give a one-time donation, or you can sign up for as little as $25 a month, which gets you access to all of the premium videos that they've been releasing. You get a welcome package that includes a bunch of stuff like a T-shirt, a magnet, some stickers, coasters. I forget, it's different every month, but that's what I got. Thank you, Leah. Appreciate that. Thank you, Robbie. Tom Jeffries was late. Unacceptable. Do you get a polo is the question. Well, if you want a polo, Wes, you just got to give me the money for it because he's only given me so much for so many. But we'll talk about it. We might be able to get you one polo. We'll see. But last words for me. Next Sunday, we kick off season 6. It's crazy to think that we have been doing this for as long as we have anyway, but doing the podcast for 6 years now on top of the radio show on 93.9 for 4 years, and then the stuff we did on 790 the year before that. We've been doing it for a while, and we hope to continue to do it. This may or may not be like the last regular season that I'm able to host, because I gotta get healthy. I don't feel good every single day. I feel there's even during the day, I feel good some of the day and not good the other part of the day. And I don't want to give y'all less than 100%. That's why we're not doing a full hour tonight. And I got Reece to hop on here. Appreciate him doing that. But anyway, next Sunday we kick off season 6 in style with our special correspondent, or honorary correspondent, and back-to-back Kentucky High School state championship QB coach Chris Redman will be on here. And we're trying to work on a couple more special guests. We'll see if we can get them. As always, you can find us on social media at the bottom of the screen. Trying to figure out anything else. I don't think so. What's up, Desmond? What's up, Robert? Thanks, everybody, for y'all's love and support. We really do appreciate it. I am going to hop off here for now. But as always, I hope you all enjoy this week. Hope you all will always be watching. Hope the answer is never nah. Shout out to Corrido. We'll be back a week from Sunday for the season 6 kickoff with Chris Redman, and the crew will be back. You've been around a long time. You and Steve talking about starting it up. Yeah, we started, I think, in 2012. It's crazy. But we appreciate everybody. We love you all. Until next time, this has been the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast.